So in this video, we're just going to explore some genuine and some fake sovereigns, or half sovereigns in this case. So here I've got 4 half sovereigns, a selection randomly taken from coin collections, from metal detecting finds, and we're just going to have a look how we can spot which the genuine half sovereigns are and which the fake half sovereigns are. So at first glance, we might be able to tell the fake ones. We look at them, the detail is probably not as good. The shading might have been lost over time. But you have to remember, all of these coins were minted around the 1840s. So they're coming up to almost 200 years old, 180 years old. So that's a long time. If they're in circulation, they may have been rubbed, used, worn, and actually over time, some of the patina, some of the wear on the coin, some of the colouring of the coin may have changed. So how do we spot what a genuine half sovereign is and what a fake half sovereign is? So on first glance, you may already be able to tell, but for somebody that's not used to handling half sovereigns, full sovereigns, other gold coinage, it can be quite tricky to tell. These 4 coins are all a slightly different shade. So straight away, we might question, what does gold look like in a coin? We can see the brass of the scale weight here. And that's a very different colour to these coins. But some of these coins may actually contain some brass that gives it a similar colour. So how do we test them? We use this scale weight, all similar. This has been verified for the right weight, the right size of both half sovereigns and full sovereigns. It's been warranted, which means it's been officially approved. It's got the crown stamp on it to highlight that this scale should work in spotting a half sovereign and a full sovereign coin. So let's try our first one. Can you spot any issues with this one? 1839 is the date. It looks in very good condition. First glance, can you tell if it's fake or if it is genuine? Let's test it for size. So within these scales, we have a little slot that allows us to test if the coin is the genuine size or not. As you can see, this coin gets stuck within the coin slot. So to me, that's highlighting that this is potentially a fake coin. We can then test the weight of this half sovereign. When we look at the size as well, within that gap, there's a little bit of space. It doesn't seem quite right. And when we let go, we put it on our scales, nothing happens. So this coin is too light to be a half sovereign, a genuine half sovereign. It's also too thick to be potentially a genuine half sovereign. Unless I really wiggle it and push it through, it's not necessarily going to be the right size for a half sovereign. So we can pretty much safely conclude this nice gold shiny coin is a fake coin. Feels too light. It looks wrong as well. When you look at Victoria's face, it almost looks cartoon-like. Doesn't quite look right. The reading on the edges seems right, but the coin is quite a thick coin. And that's usually because they've made it thicker so that they can actually add more weight to it, in the hope that in somebody's hand it feels like a genuine half sovereign coin. So let's try our next one. So this one was a fake coin. Let's try this one. What are your thoughts on the colour, on the minting, on the shapes, the cut of the shield and the lettering? How do you feel about this one? The reeded edge. What are your first thoughts? Fake? Genuine? This one is an 1846 supposed half sovereign. Let's test it out. fits through our slot, doesn't look too small, fits quite nicely. It fits within our spaces, and can you see, which might be difficult on the camera, but this half sovereign is actually well balanced. So it's almost the same weight as this end of our scale weight, the approved crowned mark, to highlight that this is most likely a genuine half sovereign. You can see how it's staying well balanced, despite there being some wear to it, despite the colour being quite tarnished with years and years of usage. Actually, if this was polished up, it would come up probably looking brand new. But it is a used, circulated half sovereign. So, coin number 2 is a genuine half sovereign. Coin number 3. What are your first thoughts? We can see there it's quite worn. There seems to be a bit of a nick at the top. Some of the lettering seems like it has worn away quite a bit. This is a 1949 supposed half sovereign. What are your thoughts on the reading on the edge? What are your thoughts on the colour? We've got some scratching there. What does that indicate? So what do you think about this supposed Victoria half sovereign from 1849? Let's test it out. So, first off, it fits through our gap. We can see that it fits quite well within the gap, and when we move to the middle, there isn't really any side space. So let's test it on weight. So we put it in, and the scale tends to move downwards. So what are our thoughts? Does that mean that it's probably not a genuine half sovereign? Well, in this case, it's difficult to pick it up on the camera, but the weight does hold for a few seconds. It does move and then it drops down. And the reason for this is likely that with all this wear on the coin, it potentially has lost a gram, half a gram, maybe even a little more of gold over time. You can see how the face is very worn, the lettering is very worn, but this coin is a genuine half sovereign. It's likely at some point some of this scratching may have actually been somebody trying to test the coin to check for its material, to check that it is genuine gold. You can also see a couple of nicks at the top there. You can see on this side there's a nick at the top on this side as well. But the face is very, very worn compared to our other coin that we saw in the earlier part of the video. So although this coin, when we test the weight, it doesn't always balance out, it's very close to doing so. There is a slight little pause and a slight little gap, and dependent sometimes on a flatter surface, this actually does balance out, but only just. And as we said, it's likely because this coin over time has lost some weight of gold. Gold's a soft metal. These coins are usually 22 carat in their minting, which means that they're very soft. Over time, in the hand, passed over a counter, somebody's pocket, rubbed up against leather or a material of a purse or wallet, can mean that it loses some of its weight. So this half sovereign is a genuine Victoria half sovereign. And we'll try our final one. This one, at a long glance, the colouring slightly different, but sovereigns, half sovereigns can come in different tones depending on when they were minted. We can also see this has had some damage around the eyes on this half sovereign or supposed half sovereign. But when we look closer, we can see It's almost as if this coin has had a gold plating or a gold wash over it at some point. We can see the lettering is actually relatively crisp. It's been minted quite well. The portrait of the Queen, the lettering around the sides, it's actually of quite good quality. We can see it's an 1878 or 1873, sorry. We can see our reading is there, but the reading looks like it's worn in places. It looks like it's not minted correctly in certain places. So just from the look, from the colour, we could probably tell this is a fake half sovereign. But if you imagine when this was first made, when that gold plating was just applied, that gold wash, it was probably a very, very good quality fake coin. The reading there may have given it away, the way that it flattens out slightly. But in a shop, if somebody was taking this coin when it was first made, somebody probably would think it was the genuine article. But let's test it out on the scale weight. Straight away, let's put it through the gap, and actually it fits reasonably well. It fits in the correct hole. It seems to not have much space either side. So in our first test, this could have been seen as a genuine half sovereign if it wasn't in the state it is now. If that gold plate, that gold wash was still at its highest quality when it was first made. Let's try for the size. The size is good. We can see there that actually it fits pretty well in that scale. But did you notice, unlike the other ones, when we put it in, there's no movement whatsoever of the scale weight. I'll just show you again our slightly worn half sovereign. When I put that in, it drops down, it bounces back. So I put it in, it drops down, it bounces back. That doesn't happen with this supposed half sovereign. The size is right, everything seems okay, the colouring has worn away, but the weight isn't there. This coin is far too light to be a genuine half sovereign. It's likely made of a lead mix. It's likely got something in it to make it a bit harder so that it doesn't wear as easily. But there just isn't enough lead in that mix to make it weigh enough to imitate a genuine half sovereign. So, our 4 coins, 2 genuine, 2 fake. But these little scale weights are a great way of checking a couple of different factors that highlight if a coin that is a gold half sovereign or sovereign is a genuine one. Now, the weight of sovereigns, half sovereigns, hasn't changed too much over the years. So a scale weight like this could still potentially be used with more modern sovereigns as well. And we'll make a video at some point contrasting a Victorian sovereign with a modern sovereign. And you can see the changes in the gold colour of the coins. You can see how they've changed the mix of what they're made of slightly over the years. You can also look at the effects of wear and the effects of a brand new minted coin. And that will highlight how those differences have occurred over the years. But actually, the core elements of a half sovereign and a sovereign have pretty much stayed the same. The weight, the size, the thickness have all been pretty regular over the last couple of hundred years, which means that scale weights like this one still have a role to play in testing and checking out different sovereigns and half sovereigns from different denomination, from different kings, different queens over time. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for metal detecting videos, other coinage videos, wildlife videos, and I'll keep making this type of content. Thank you for watching and see you soon.